All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. We're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Thirst the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor, for I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? So all esteem and praise the Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. So let's go to Proverbs 13 and 12. Hope deferred, make the heart sick. Shalom, brother Brennan. But when desires come, it is a tree of life. Shalom, East man. Proverbs 27 and 18. Whoso keep the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, and he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. We was in Proverbs 15 the other day, 15 and 4. I mentioned that. I think we went in. Joanne, cut it out. Sit down and be quiet. Say a wholesome tongue, a tree of life. But perverseness therein, a breach in the ruach. Now, last week we talked about what that gave the example of that more so of the lie that Satan told. Shalom, brother Marcus, man. You know what I'm talking about how that she would be God because she would have knowledge of the law and how that caused the separation. I think I mentioned this, but let's come over here to Acts 13, just on general principle. And then we'll move on to another part of the play. Go over there and get it. What it is? Acts chapter 13. I'll pick it up at verse 33, man. Acts 13 and 33. Elohim have fulfilled the same unto us, their children, and that he have raised up Yahusha again, as it is also written in the second psalm, you art my son, this day have I begotten you. And as concerning that he raised him up from the dead, no more to return to corruption, he said, on this wise, I will give you the sure mercies of David. Wherefore he say also in another, you shall not suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. For David, after he had served his own generation by the will of Elohim, fell on asleep and was laid unto his fathers and saw corruption. But he whom Elohim raised again saw no corruption. Be it known unto you, therefore, men, brethren, that through this man is preached unto you for the forgiveness of sins. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, you know our homeboy in Alabama went live late last night. You know, I don't be up that time of night. You know what I'm talking about? I be asleep. But I seen it this morning. And he was just talking to people about something that y'all already know. That nowhere in the text is it commissioned for anybody at any time to preach that you're an Israelite. And I think I told y'all that the other week. There's a gentleman, I ain't had time to respond to him. He wanted to use something that we done discussed before. I want you to look at it, man. And I'm only mentioning this here because bad dope is why you're going to go to hell. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know why you're going to go to hell? It's not just going to be because the work is bad. It's because you're going to have a bad understanding. You know what the text says, if you ain't got no understanding, you worthy of death. That's not something to take lightly. Now, Jeremiah 17 and 1. I heard brothers on Clubhouse talking about this same particular deal. God bless Brother Langford. Hey, hush. Hold on, y'all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Get your behind over there and get that stuff. Pick it up. Pick it up. Get it to your mama. Now go in your room. So let's look at this Jeremiah 17:1 and why improper information could be dangerous to your soul. The first thing it says, the sin of Yehuda written with a pen of iron, with the point of a diamond, graven upon the table of their heart, upon the horns of their altar. So what does this mean? Of course, he's telling you the kata, or the sinfulness, the condition of sin, the guilt for sin. It is written with a point of diamond on the tables of their heart. I mean, your heart is hardened. Remember, he told you, I'm going to just show you something real quick. Like, come over here to Ezekiel 18. From Ezekiel 18 to 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Ezekiel 18. It might not even be in this one here. It's definitely not. It's Ezekiel 11. In Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 19. I will give them one heart, and I will put a new ruach within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and I will give them a heart of flesh. Now let's look and see what this means. Shalom, Jay. You know what I'm talking about? What did it mean on you got a stony heart of flesh? Well, let's look and see what stony is, man. When you look at stone, of course, it's the word aben, which is the word for stone, tables of stone, hewn stones, sinking in water, you know what I'm saying? But hard heart, if you would. Hard-hearted individual. He said he got to take that up. Shalom, brother. He said he got to take that up out you and give you a heart of flesh. Well, let's look and see what that means. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Verse 3, I'll make it 1. Do we begin to commend ourselves, or need we as some epistles of commendation to you, or of commendation from you? You are our epistles written in our hearts, known and read of all men, manifestly declared to be the epistle of a Mashiach, ministered unto us, not written in ink, but with the ruach of the living Elohim, not in tables of stone, but fleshly tables of the heart. Now, he noticed that he said he give you a stony heart. You also know that it meant hewn stones. You also know the law was written on hewn stones. Now, see, why would you sit back and say the law is hard? The law is hard if you break it. So most individuals, because they have a hard heart towards something that will condemn them, then they have no desire to keep it. You know what I'm talking about? So then he turns around, he said, I give you a heart of flesh. Why do you need a heart of flesh? You see, you'll sit back and say, my heart is already flesh. It's going to give you a heart where his ruach can dwell. And you don't have that, then you can't produce the fruit. So when you turn around to Jeremiah 17 and he say the sin is written on the table of a heart, because your heart is hard, you hard-headed, you stubborn, you ridiculously disobedient, then this is what is written on your heart. The word ain't written on your heart. This man's name ain't written on your heart. It ain't nothing but sin written on your heart. And that's why you got to make a new one. Now let's look at verse 2 of Jeremiah 17. He said, whether their sons remember their altars and their groves upon the green trees and upon the high hills. Now he asking, will your children remember the idols you worship? So let's look at the next thing he say. Oh, my mountain in the field, I will give your substance and all your treasures to the spoil, your high places for sin throughout all your borders. So all the wealth you got, he said, I'm going to give it to somebody else. Let's look at the next thing he say. This is the verse that most people use. And you even yourself shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you, and I will cause you to serve enemies in a land which you know not, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, shall burn forever. See, the first thing that most bruisers say to you, you think your nationality is your heritage. Your nationality is not your heritage. You didn't inherit that from Yahuwah. That's your first mistake. If you go around telling people that, you woefully misconstrued and you got a problem. You know what I'm talking about? Because he didn't promise that your seed would be a heritage. He promised Abraham a seed for his name to continue. And then he promised him a land. See, this is what y'all get the game twisted at. He didn't even promise Abraham a law. That's not what he promised that man. You know why he didn't promise Abraham a law? Because Abraham already had it. I just heard two dudes arguing about that, talking about how did Abimelech know not to sleep with Abraham's wife? I'm like, what you niggas think the law of God wasn't in the land? What's wrong with you niggas, man? What's wrong with y'all? So you think righteousness just started on Mount Sinai? If you think righteousness just started on Mount Sinai, nigga, how do you think Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were righteous? Nigga, how do you think Joseph was righteous? Nigga, the question should have been, how did Joseph know not to sleep with his master's wife? And say, I'm not going to sin against my God. Who taught him that? What's wrong with us, man? And this is how you know that the tree of knowledge of good and evil was the law. How was Noah perfect? You know what I'm talking about? See, he had the law, but see, Noah was perfected by his faith. Abraham was perfected by his faith. See, Isaac and Jacob were perfected by their faith. The law is just a part of that. That didn't make them perfect, though. We talked about that on last week, man. The breach in the spirit is because this man told you will be God with the law. You understand? There's nowhere in the text where anybody's a son of God with the law. What's wrong with you? Every person in here who was declared to be a son of God was declared to be a son of God by a word. You understand? Whether it was Adam, whether it was Yahushua. Abraham was declared to be the father of many nations by a word. Isaac and Jacob was able to take hold of that covenant by a word. No law involved. But see, you don't want to hear that because you want to proclaim and boast in the law and in your flesh. And nigga, you don't even keep the law. You'll turn around and tell a nigga how you sin and say ain't nobody righteous, none but one. Get your wicked, disobedient, unfaithless behind up out of here. Don't nobody want to hear that, man. Why you want to tell me to fear God you don't fear? You don't respect him enough to obey him. So why would I do it? You don't even see a problem with that. So since you know you sinful as hell, you think the Israelite part will bring them in. So you're doing what he said in Matthew 23. You're making proselytes and you're making them 2-4 more the child of hell than you are. That's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You got these people anticipating the kingdom that they won't even be a part of. You got these people looking for the inheritance they ain't gonna get because Revelation say he that overcomes shall inherit all things and he shall be my son. So boy, if you ain't a son of God, you ain't inheriting nothing. And see, you're supposed to know that from the law that the firstborn son inherit. So if you're not a son of God, what you inheriting? That's why he say all of Yasharal is not a Yasharal, but he that is of the promise, he counted for the seed. Because Isaac is the only begotten son. Ain't that's what your law say? So if this is what your law say, and he gave everything to Isaac and only gave gifts to his other children, you going to hell, man, if you ain't no firstborn son. You understand me? You're going to hell. There's no way around it. And you're going to hell not for no other reason is you don't have a right to the inheritance. You don't have a right to it. But see, ain't nobody gonna tell us that, man. And that put us in a dangerous spot. Now, I want you to hear what he say when he say he gonna discontinue from your heritage. Because the brother just said it's one and the same. It's not one and the same. Your heritage, your inheritance was the land. You should know that from your law. You can't read nowhere in the text where your inheritance was your bloodline. You can't read it. Because now you want to make Yahuwah be flesh and blood. You're going to hell. The man told you that those that worship him must worship him in Ruach and in truth. What's wrong with you? Shalom, Sister Kelly. I challenge you to find it in the text. Now, when you look at discontinue, it is samat, shan, mean, tet. It's to release, to drop, to loose, to cause, to let drop, to release. He will release you from your heritage. Now, this is why you got to let the spirit, you got to compare spiritual things with spiritual. You got to compare the text with the text. When you see heritage, what does that word heritage mean? That, of course, y'all should know it. It is nakalah. That is possession, property, inheritance, share, portion. Has absolutely nothing to do with your bloodline. And see, the context clues would even having to go through anything. You should have picked that up because he said, I will cause you to serve your enemies in a land which you don't know. That should have told you that. But since that won't help you out, let's just look at Genesis 15 and see what the promise was. That's all you got to do. We ain't got to do nothing else other than that. Go look in your law and see what your law say. If you disagree, I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's you niggas' problem. You want niggas a new jack swing on your nuts. You want confirmation bias and being wrong. And I ain't talking about being wrong on no scholarly tip and all that old asinine, idiotic stuff you niggas be on. This is meaning you don't have a proper understanding. You're going to die about that. That's what it's about. If you have the proper understanding. Remember, that man said there's no searching of his understanding. My understanding don't mean nothing. I got to have Yahuwah's understanding. Yahuwah's understanding is the only understanding that matters. He said there's no searching of his understanding. Don't nobody want his understanding. Right here in Genesis chapter 15, this man say right here in verse 17, well, verse 18, in that same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto your seed have I given this land from the river of Mizraim unto the great river Euphrates, the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Kadamites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Kenites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. That's your inheritance. But hold on, let's see what he gave to Isaac now. Let's give it 2-3 witnesses. That's what your law requires. Genesis what, 25? Or is it 26? I don't think I want 25. Yeah, I want 26:1. Listen to what he say. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, under Gerar, and Yahuwah appeared unto him, saying, go down, not down into Mizraim, and dwell in the land which I shall tell of you. Sojourn in this land, and I will bless you and baruch you, for unto you and unto your seed will I give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham your father. That is your inheritance. That's your possession, your portion, your property. What we got going on, man? Let's come over here to Genesis chapter 28. And let's pick this up. What? Verse 1 we need? We'll make it verse 4. And to give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed with you, that you may inherit the land where you are a stranger, which Elohim gave unto Abraham. So your birthright, your inheritance has absolutely nothing to do with your bloodline. That's not your heritage, man. He didn't discontinue you from knowing who you are. That's not what that says. He said, I'm going to cause you to release your portion, your possession. You're going to give that up. That's what that says. You don't even need to look at that in Hebrew. Goddamn common sense in English should be able to tell you that. But see, you know what the problem is, y'all? We ain't got no common sense. You know what I'm talking about? Not when it comes to the word, we got confirmation by it. I'm going to tell y'all something. I told little brothers the other day, I done told y'all this before. Niggas preach nationality because they ain't got no word. I'm going to be honest with you. Because they know it ain't in the text to do it. So they have to come up with some way to rationalize doing it. Because they ain't got no word. Because Yahuwah ain't give them no word. See, let me tell you something, man. You can't study your way to no word, man. You can study day and night. You know how many people in this earth study this word day and night and don't understand it? If this man don't want you to see, this is what people don't be wanting to hear that. That's that spiritual stuff. You can take it how you want to take it. It say the Almighty give inspiration to give men understanding. If that man don't want you to have it, you're not going to get it. You know what I'm talking about? And he don't want you to have it, you're not going to get it. You can't study your way to that. The only way you can study to increase your understanding is that if he's giving it to you. If he's giving you some understanding, then yes, you can study to increase your understanding. But you can't study to get understanding. You know what I'm talking about? Because he say get wisdom. Well, what is wisdom? To fear Yahuwah. So in order to fear Yahuwah, then he say, in all you're getting, get understanding. Once you fear God, then you can get some understanding. If you don't fear God, how you going to get some understanding? Because if you fear God, that means you believe in God. And if you fear God, that means you got respect to his reward. So he could give you understanding. If you ain't got no respect to the reward, what is he going to give you that for? He's not going to give you that. I'm not saying that to be rude, disrespectful to me. I'm telling you because it's the truth. And quite see, this is different between me and other people. I don't care if you agree with me. I'm going to stand on what I stand on, and I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You can give your perspective. I'll listen to you. But once it's seen, it's going to contend some back and forth. You got it, bro, because I'm not going to have that conversation with you. I don't care enough. You know what I'm talking about? Look here, man. Look at, like I told little brother earlier, man. I said, man, that man ain't hitting these dudes off with no packs. These boys out here selling water whip, and they using the re-rock machine. Shalom, Mother Shalom. That's all they doing. They re-rocking bad dope they got from somebody else. They don't know what it's like to get no fresh pack. They don't understand that. That's not in their framework. That ain't in their mind. These boys selling bad dope. And they know they selling bad dope. But the people love it that way because you love bad dope. That's what you like. Some of y'all know y'all was smoking on that Bobby Brown, man. That's what you was on. Some of y'all was on that cocaine. You ain't want that brown to get you down or that white to get you hype. You want a nigga to put that doggone baking soda on it strong. Some of y'all pop pills. You ain't want no real MDMA. You wanted all the other stuff in it. Some of you didn't want top shelf liquor. You got the cheapest gin you can drink. You didn't want to take the time to get some good cognac. You want to go straight and get you some Erkinger. Hennessy ain't nothing but a medium's man Erkinger. That ain't no top shelf cognac, man. Niggas don't even know nothing about no top shelf cognac. I say that because I done sipped a little almost top shelf cognac. It's a lot smoother. You know what I'm talking about? They call Remy Martin fine champagne cognac. Ain't nothing fine or champagne about it. I can tell you that. But I ain't drink liquor either. So there's that. You know what I'm talking about? But where we was at before? I know I jumped something else, Jeremiah 17. I don't remember what. But I'm going to go to Proverbs 11. I got two things out the law to deal with this evening. But I want to give you Proverbs 11 and 30. I know we still need to cycle through Proverbs chapter 3 if the Lord allow. It's coming down the pipe. Proverbs 11 and 30. And it says, oh, that's why I can't see it, because that page goes. Because I'm looking, I'm like, this don't add up. Proverbs 11 and 30. The fruit of the righteous, a tree of life, and he that wins souls, wise. Now he say the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. That's Parade and Zadok. Fruit is offspring. Now I want to take you to a statement that the Lord made. We all know it. Matthew chapter 12. We all know it. I'm around in a second. Matthew 12. I make it verse 30, man. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. He that is not with me is against me. He that gather not with me scatter abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy, the Ruach HaKodesh shall not be forgiven unto men. But whosoever speak a word against the son of Adam, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speak against the Ruach HaKodesh, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the to come. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by fruit. O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bring forth good things. An evil man out of the evil treasure bring forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. Now let's take a statement that Paul made in Romans chapter 3 real quick to go on with that. And after that, book of Ecclesiastes. Romans 3 and 1. What advantage have the Yahudim, or what profit of circumcision? Much every chiefly, because unto them were the oracles of were committed the oracles of Elohim. Now we done talked about that before. That's the only advantage you got of being a Jew, being a Yahudim, being an Abarim, being of the seed of Yasharal, is that you got the word first. That's your advantage. And you know the sad part is you don't take advantage of that advantage because you're stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because you think just because it was given to you that makes you special. See, you act like the very women you claim that you don't like who think they special because they got a vagina. That's how you behave. You don't realize you behave like that. See, you only look. What does it mean to be special? Well, let's look and see. What does it mean to be special? Because a lot of people think they special. A lot of people think they children special. Your children ain't special because they're yours. I'm not going to walk around here and say, oh, Joanne is special. She might be special in another way. You know what I'm talking about? But we ain't talking about that right now. So when you talk about meaning of special, better, greater, or otherwise different from that which is usual. So you got to be better or greater. You're not better or greater because you were Israelite. And if you believe that, you ought to go to hell for being stupid. That don't make you better or greater. Let me show you what make you better or greater. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Hey, get her. Oh, she done shut herself in. Beloved, believe not every ruach, but try the ruachs whether they are of Elohim. This is 1 John 4:1. Because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know you the ruach of Elohim. Every ruach that confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim. And every ruach that confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And this is that anti-Mashiach, whereof you have heard that it should come, even now already is it in the world. You are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of Elohim. He that know Elohim hear us. He that is not of Elohim hear not us. Hereby we know the ruach of truth and the ruach of error. Boy, you ain't got that man's spirit. Ain't nothing special about you. Meaning it means to be better and greater than that which is usual. If you take a Hebrew who got the ruach and a Hebrew who don't, the Hebrew who got the ruach is going to be more special than the Hebrew who don't. The Hebrew who don't is just a nigga. That's why he say he that is of Yasharal is not of Yasharal, but he that is of the promise is counted for the seed. That would make you special. If you don't have that, what's special? What is better and greater about you? Because you say he made a covenant with us because we chose it. Nigga, if you sin and you ain't different than what's usual. If you unbelieving, you're not different than what's usual. You a common, regular person. You have to become a son of God to become different and greater than what is usual. If you say there's nobody that sin not, and he say he that is born of God don't commit sin, which one you think special? Which one you think is not the usual? I don't know. Why are you calling me on WhatsApp? You smoking crack. You know what I'm talking about? What it was, we were just in my mind. We were talking about it the other day. Now it slipped out my mind because this nigga calling me on WhatsApp. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to sell some products. You know what I'm talking about? You know them foreign niggas who scam, they like that's what they like to do. You know what I'm talking about? Now I'm trying to think, man. Y'all willing to come back? Come on back over here to Romans chapter 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Elohim without effect? Elohim forbid. Yea, let Elohim be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that you might be justified in your sayings, that you might overcome when you are judged. Now, why is this important about this overcoming? Well, let's come over here to Revelation 2 and talk about it. Revelation 2. That, I want to talk about the work in Philadelphia. You know what Philadelphia means? Hell no. So everybody on here should know what Philadelphia means. They tell you every day. If you hear anything about Philadelphia, they tell you exactly what it means every single solitary day. What's that? It means brotherly love, literally. That's literally what Philadelphia means. Philadelphia was a city in Asia Minor. There was a congregation there. It's in Revelation chapter 3. You know what I'm talking about? Now, the reason why I mentioned that because we were looking at certain fruits. He said the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, which means is eternal. And now, y'all know the fruits of the Ruach, because this would be the fruit of the righteous. He said what? A good tree bring forth what? Good fruit. Let's look at Matthew chapter 7. Hold on, I ain't read Revelation 2. Hold on. I'm going to start at Revelation 2 and 1 on the strength. Unto the synagogue, unto the Malachim of the synagogue of Ephesians, write these things, saith he that hold the 7 stars in his right hand, who walk in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. I know your works and your labor and your patience, and how you can't bear them which are evil, and how you have tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found liars, You know what I'm saying? You'll have people out here, we didn't talk about this before. Ain't no apostles out here. But let me tell y'all something. You know what most brews don't do? You know what most of y'all don't do? You'll hear niggas say he a teacher, you won't even test him. You'll hear niggas say he a pastor, you won't even test him. You'll hear somebody say they're an apostle, and you won't even test him. Now, that's a good brother I know. He posted this the other day. He wasn't lying, though. Apostle, pastor, evangelist, at the end of the day, you know what those titles are? Do you know what they really are? I guess not. Who knows what they really are? That's it, a job description. You know what I'm saying? Now, his point was, why do we esteem these job descriptions so high? Fourth as man is concerned. At the end of the day, apostle ain't nothing but a job description. A prophet ain't nothing but a job description. You know what I'm saying? A pastor, a teacher ain't nothing but a job description. Now, if you was to go to a company to hire them or to seek them out for a particular service, you mean to tell me you wouldn't test them to see if they were actually skilled enough to perform the task? You know what I'm talking about? So you believe just because a man say, I'm a pastor, you ain't going to test him? Oh, that brother waking up people to be an Israelite. You stupid as you look. Y'all niggas will listen to anybody just because they skin brown and they say they're Israelite. You'll listen to them. This man say, listen to what he said again. He said, I know your works and your labor and your patience. And then he said how you don't even fool with people who eat it. Sit down. You know what Mo Brews will tell you? It don't matter, brother. We got to come together as a people. It don't matter if we wicked. Lying to me. Because if this nigga around here sleeping with niggas' wives, I don't want that nigga around me, man. I don't fool with people like that. My God don't fool with people like that, so why am I going to do it? If he's stealing and lying, I'm not fooling with this nigga. I don't want that wicked nigga around me, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. And there's too much examples of that in the book. Man, you be around all them wicked niggas, man, and you going to die with them. Shalom, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Listen. If you around all them wicked people, if judgment come, you dying with them. Remember what he told with Lot them? He said, I ain't gonna kill them. I'm gonna let them get up out of there. You know what I'm talking about? Now you stay around there and fool with them, and you gonna catch that wrath because you ain't got no business around there. But see, when you ain't got that type of common sense, nigga be like, man, I like this. Man, I can go preach in the hood. I ain't finna hang out there. I'm not finna be doing what they doing. You know what Mo Brews scared to do? You scared to make a difference because you think I don't want to be holier than thou or over righteous and all that stuff. No, you just scared to be different. You scared to be sanctified. It's the same way how rapper niggas feel like they got to show they still hood. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, boy. You ain't got to try to prove I got to keep it real. Keep it real with Yahuwah and yourself and do what the man tell you to do. But you got to make a difference, man. You can't be scared to be different. You can't be all want to be down type nigga and do stuff, man. You're going to lose your life behind that. But, you know, you can still kick it with people who in the world. You can still holler at people who sinning this, that, then the third. But I can't be with you like that because I got to make a difference between me and you. Because Yahuwah make a difference between him and sinners. Let that be known. But you say you represent him, but you don't want to make a difference. You know why you don't want to make a difference? Because you a pretentious, sanctimonious, proud bastard. That's why. So you don't know how to make a difference and remain humble in the making of the difference. You don't know how to be meek in the sanctification application, if you would. You have to be in the terms like you looking down on it. Look at me. I just pulled up, you know what I'm talking about? To Avis, right? And the people were like, you celebrate Thanksgiving? I said, oh, hell no. I ain't doing that. The only reason why this is funny, because Jimmy was like, man, I got all these kids, man. I'm trying to figure out a way to get out of Christmas. I said, man, I've been told you Christmas ain't real. This nigga like, what? I didn't know the niggas was hitting booty hole. I said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, my homeboy Rico, he already knew this. And I'm telling them, it's more people know this than you think, but it's still a lot of people who don't. So when the lady asked me, yeah, you keeping Thanksgiving? I say, absolutely not. Now, the dude working in there with her, I know the nigga, he like, oh, yeah, I already knew this. When I'm telling you, I ain't do no Thanksgiving. And they cutting the people titties off and use them as tobacco pouches. Cutting the women's heads off and use them as soccer balls. And when they couldn't find no more Indians to kill, they killed niggas. And I've known this since I was a teenager. Mr. Kimball, American History, Inglewood High School. I remember that. I'm looking at it. He said, just read it. He wanted me to focus in on this, that this is nonsense. Don't fool with it. And it was a white man, for those who might be wondering, Caucasian dude. He said, don't fool with this crap. It's a lie. You know what I'm saying? That's not what happened. This is what happened. That man went out his way to do this. This wasn't in the textbook. He's showing me something else. Now, the lady was like, I never knew this. I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely not. I'm not sitting down doing no Thanksgiving. For what? And for me, it ain't for no other reason than, okay, if I know the information behind it, this don't pertain to me. So I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't have to walk around these people out here keeping Thanksgiving and this, that, that, and the third. Guess what? No matter what I say, if they want to keep it, they can keep it. You know what I'm talking about? And if they want to keep it, that junk don't make me mad. You know why I don't like you niggas? Because you get mad about a nigga keeping Thanksgiving, but it's a Bruce sleeping with niggas' wives, telling lies, perpetrating and faking, and that don't bother you. And that don't bother you. You niggas pussy. You know what I'm talking about? You niggas is a weird type of different. Because that should bother you more than somebody who outside the house who keeping Thanksgiving. What you expect them to do? But it's niggas in the house doing all type of wickedness, and that don't bother you. You niggas sour. I don't respect it. I don't respect it. Oh, they out there keeping Christmas. So what? Man, I got a homegirl, man. She wouldn't care what you showed her about Christmas. She gonna keep doing it. Matter of fact, that nigga know that junk ain't real. She know the back. She don't care. And you know why she don't care? Because she got childhood memories tied to Christmas. She not gonna let that go. You know what I'm saying? I know this girl for damn near 30 years. She's not going to let that go. Because she got memories when she was 7, 8, 9, 10. That's important to her. Y'all don't be realizing that. But it's a nigga in the house looking this old lady in the face, lying, talking about it's going to be her and him, and he's smashing other hoes. It's niggas in the house. They stealing. It's niggas in the house oppressing people. And that don't bother you. Now you know, everybody's sin, brother. We got to have grace and patience. Get your goofy behind out of here, man. Get out of here with that, man. We don't respect that. If you're going to be upset with transgression of the word, be upset no matter where you see it at and no matter who doing it. Don't get mad at the people outside the house, but turn an eye to those inside the house and make excuses for them because that's your favorite teacher. Because you like their music, because he might be a well-known brother. Nigga, that nigga don't get no pass in heaven for it. Come on, man. Let's roll back on here, man. Let me read this one more time. Revelation chapter 2, verse 2. I know your works and your labor and your patience and how you cannot bear them which are evil, which say they are apostles and are not, and found them liars. Most people don't even know how to test somebody to see if they're an apostle. Most people don't even know how to test nobody to see if they're a pastor. One of the first tests, you know, where all these women who preach and disqualify, you ain't got no husband, huh? You ain't got no wife, huh? If you got a wife, you a bull dagger. You's a carpet muncher. Ain't no woman in this book had rule over their own house. See, a woman could do that long as she ain't over a congregation. You jackass, don't you know if you teaching the word, no matter where you at, you over the people you teaching, dummy? You think because you're not in a physical building, that don't mean you have not exerted some type of authority? What's wrong with y'all? We the only group of people do that. Oh, I ain't know. Look here, man. Once you open up that text, you have assumed yourself a position of authority. Don't the book say submit to them that have rule over you? See, that's why dudes don't want to be in no congregation, because then you don't have to be held accountable for the standards and rules that your law done set for these type of situations and circumstances. But y'all don't pay attention to none of that. I've been telling you that for a long time. And that ain't to get nobody to come around here and roll with us. People don't want to be in assembly because then they don't have a structure and order that will hold them accountable so they can go to hell. You know what I'm talking about? So you want to freelance and move like this here. This is how people get caught up. This is how the young girls get all these niggas who be doing them dirty. This is how niggas say they get done wrong because you niggas freelancing. So then you're going to listen to anybody. There's no structure to say, hey, brother, you can't do that. Because you don't want that. But you say you building the kingdom. How you building the kingdom with no structure, nigga? The man done told you how to do it. He done gave you men to be over it. You don't want that. So you don't want his kingdom. Kingdom means dominion. What dominion? You know ain't got no structure, no order, or no leaders in it. We appoint anybody. Niggas just appoint random niggas to be a leader. I'm not listening to this nigga. Niggas be in their 20s talking about they're elder. Nigga, how? Nigga, how is that possible? Well, you just stopped beating your meat. Boy, you just got old enough to buy some liquor. Not listening to you, bro. Niggas be around here calling niggas elders, bro. This nigga in his 20s. This nigga's in his 30s. Nigga, I'm in my 40s and you better not call me no elder. I ain't old enough. Service, what's good, my G? I ain't old enough. You can't call me no elder. I ain't old enough. I'm talking about elders for that definition. If you wanted to say elder for pastor, that would be different. And I still don't care. I ain't got to walk around with my job title the same way I ain't got to walk around and say I'm owner CEO. Nigga, you goofy as hell. Don't have to do that. Do that for what? Niggas lame who do that, man. If you the owner, people know it. You know what I'm saying? And if they ask, you can tell them. If you're a pastor, you ain't got to walk around and tell them. You got to broadcast that. It's just a job title. Don't make you extra special. You got a job to do. Which means if you have a job to do, you got to be accountable to the person who gave you the job. Revelation 2 and 3. And has borne and has patience for my name's sake, and have labored and have not fainted. Nevertheless, I have against you because you left your first love. Remember, therefore, from whence you are fallen, and repent and do the first works, or else I will come unto you quickly and remove your candlestick out of his place, except you repent. But this you have, that you hate the deeds of Nicolaitans, which I also hate. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. Shalom, man. So listen. The only way you could get to the tree of life is if you overcome. Well, if you overcome, you'd be a son of God. Ain't that what it said? So that means that, see, you know what? We trying to inherit the wrong thing. See, you focus on your inheritance being an Israelite, you need to inherit that tree of life. Because if you inherit the tree of life, you inherit Yahuwah, man. Because you inherit eternity. You trying to inherit carnality, and you gonna die. You understand? He said the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. Now, I mentioned we might talk about Philadelphia, meaning brotherly love, because one of the fruits is what? Love, peace, joy, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, faith, self-control. Against such there is no what? No law. And if there's no law, there is no sin. And where there is no sin, then there is no death. See, a lot of brothers take that and say, he said, well, there's no law, there's no sin. So you mean to say, if you don't say that, then it ain't no sin? See, you don't know no book. See, I know not to listen to you. See, I'm like most of y'all who feel like I got to jump out here and prove everybody doctrine wrong. I'm not going to do all that. I just know not to listen to you. See, I'm not the type of person to be like, I got the word. I ain't going to listen to nobody. Hey, man, if you talking right, I'm going to listen to you because it's the word, brother. Yahuwah could give you a word. Why would I listen to you? If Yahuwah gave you a word, that's retarded. That don't even make common sense. But I do know this. I can tell if he ain't gave you no word, and I can tell it quick. And once I tell it, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to nothing you say. Because you without understanding. Why would I sit? That's like me trying to learn how to fix a car motor, and I can know that this man don't know what he's talking about, but I'm going to let him teach me how to fix the motor anyway, even though I know he don't know what he's talking about. Now, what type of sense that make? What type of sense that make? You gonna sit here and let a man who's deficient in information instruct you in something and you know he don't know what he's talking about? To save face? To be in solidarity with stupidity? Why would you do that? You're a grown man. You're a grown man. Grown men don't do that. Grown men don't do that. I'm not chewing out the meat and spitting out the bone. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not listening to you. Nowhere in the text that Yahuwah say, take the good parts out and throw out the rest. He ain't never told you to do no stupid junk like that. That means when you say that, that means you comfortable listening to somebody who don't know what they talking about. So if you listen to somebody who don't know what they talking about, can you really have the discernment and understanding to make the difference between what's right and what's wrong? If you are simple enough in your mind to listen to somebody when you know they don't know what they're talking about? I don't think any of you, I think every last one of y'all are just entirely too smart to do that. I don't think any of you of that low level of intelligence to do something like that. I want to believe every person on this stream and in this clubhouse room and in this house has enough sense to say, I'm not doing that. That don't make sense. I believe that wholeheartedly. I cannot believe that y'all would be that simple. I just can't. I just can't. No way. You'd have to show me that to convince me of that. And then I'll be like, well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. That's what the old people used to say. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that to be funny. I'm saying that because that's serious, man. You don't do that in any other area of life. Why are you doing it with your soul? It's your soul we talking about. But let's take a look at Deuteronomy 20 for a second, yo. Guess what? I done had people say, I don't agree with what you're saying. All right, what you want me to be upset? I don't like your preaching. I mean, they come, he said, you say he don't want to hear you, he want to hear Ricard. I said, I don't care. That don't bother me. Look here, man. What a lot of people don't understand is this here, right? If somebody preaching the word and you say you want, who cares? Now, whether this person know what he's talking about or not, I'm not going to come to you like, that man don't know no word. Not unsolicited because you say, I want to listen to him and not you. All right, I don't care. That means maybe that's where Yahuwah want you to go. What I'm finna, it's like y'all take this stuff personally. Like it's like like you take it like it's a girl you want to be with. Now she don't want to be with you. Now you got to convince her to stay with you. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because it ain't my word. You know what I'm talking about? I don't got no monopoly on their word. It ain't my word, man. Everybody gonna go where Yahuwah want them to go. That ain't none of my concern. You know what my concern is? Those that's with me. Because that means that's who I'm supposed to be concerned with and to watch over. I can't be concerned with who don't give me to watch over. That's not my concern. I bet ain't none of y'all concerned with another man's wife. I hope you're not. No doubt, sir. No doubt. You know, sir, be dropping them. I ain't gonna be able to work all them in there. That boy come with him back to back. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's come over here to Deuteronomy 20. He dropping too fast. You know what? I'll hit all the other stuff around it. Just cause that ain't what we're really coming over here for. But I'll do them anyway. Deuteronomy 20, when you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots of people more than you, he said, be not what? Be not afraid of them, for Yahuwah your Elohim with you, which brought you up out of the land of Mizraim. Let me tell y'all something, man. Don't worry about what these people got going on. You niggas scared about these people gonna do that. I don't give a damn what they gonna do. If Yahuwah with me, what they gonna do to me? Not nothing. He said, don't be afraid of them. It shall be when you are come near unto the battle that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people. And he shall say unto them, hear, O Yasharal, you approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts be faint, fear not, do not tremble, neither be terrified because of them. See, you ain't got to worry about fighting that battle at the end because Yahushua gonna do it for you. You ain't got to fight nobody. But see, a lot of y'all, you want to be that independent woman. I don't need no God. That's what you is. Because you're not saving yourself. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You ain't finna fight your way up out of this one. You're going to have to rely on Yahuwah. You're going to have to lean on Yahuwah. If you can save yourself, what you need Yahuwah for? So you can say, if you can save yourself, that means you can make your own eternal kingdom. Could you not? Because you ain't finna go to the land and take it back. You ain't finna do nothing. You niggas just running your dick beaters. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. You just running your mouth. You not finna do nothing. And you know you're not finna do nothing. That's right. The serve now the newness of the Ruach and not the oldness of the letter, because the Ruach give life, the letter kill. You don't want to hear that. See, you want to keep that heart of stone. You don't want that heart of flesh. It don't do nothing for you. It don't satisfy you. It's not provocative enough. It don't get the people going. You know what I'm talking about? Listen what else he say, man. Verse 4. For Yahuwah your Elohim, he that go with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you. And the officers I speak unto the people, saying, what man have built a new house and have not sanctified it? Let him go and return into his house, lest he die in battle, and another man sanctify it. What man that have planted a vineyard and have not eaten of it? Let him go and return into his house, lest he die in a battle, and another man eat. See, that's what Paul was referring to in that Timothy, when he said, if a man plant a vineyard and not eaten of it. That's why he was referring to that when he was talking about what he was talking about in regards to reaping and sowing carnal things. That's right. Absolutely right, sir. We don't make the law void through faith. I don't even know why people even think that. You think that we talking about believing in the promises of God that make the law void? We a Kadash group of individuals. We men. I told you this before. Every man got structure and order in his house. Because we talking about trusting in God, you think that void order and structure? A man who ain't got no order and rules ain't no man. If you say you got order and rules that you abide by and you don't keep them, you ain't a man. That's why I don't respect a lot of these dudes who always in people's face talking about keep the law, and then you turn around and say you sinning. That means you ain't no man because you don't even keep the order and rules that you say that other people ought to keep. Why should I respect you as a man? You don't respect yourself, much less your God. But I'm supposed to just turn my eye at that. There ain't no big deal. I'll struggle. Told you, man, when I was on my man stream Sunday night, man. We just talking about that, man. These niggas flaw out here, man. And we make excuses for it. And you wonder why the people ain't growing. And you wonder why the people ain't getting better. Don't nobody want to check. Let me tell y'all something, too. Nobody ain't got to know you to check you, man. The book don't say, oh, we got to be friends or have a relationship for me to check you. He said don't suffer no sin on your neighbor. See, that's what's wrong with you niggas. You niggas scream love till it's time for somebody to tell you to tighten up. Now it's like, nah, brother. You don't even know me like that. You damn fool. Don't you know if somebody got enough courage to step to you and pull your coattail and tell you, boy, you doing something that could cost you your life? That means this person love you and they don't even know you. But the niggas who know you looking at you every day doing it and not saying nothing, that means the people don't give a damn about you. That man say don't suffer no sin upon your neighbor. That's what your law said. So you mean to tell me if we was in the land or we was somewhere, somebody got to be buddy and chummy with you to check you? That means you proud and you a goofy. And your daddy ought to be ashamed because he's raised a buster. Because that ain't no man behavior. Man, Paul came and checked Peter in front of everybody. And Peter a higher rank than Paul. Peter ain't saying, that nigga told me like that. Don't you know I'm the rock upon this house? No, man, you got to take that, man. That's why the people don't get no better because don't nobody want to be checked. The men don't want to be checked. The women don't want to be checked. Nobody want to be checked. How we going to make it in this man kingdom, man? How we going to get there? How we going to get there? Don't nobody want to be told, nah, brother, what you doing? That ain't the move. I shouldn't have to build a relationship with you. You know why you get upset when somebody check you? Because you know you're wrong. And instead of sitting back and say, you know what? I appreciate that, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even look at it like that till you pointed it out to me. Because you want to stay evil while perpetrating righteous, and you're going to go to hell. Because you might fool yourself, and you might try to fool others. You're not fooling your who. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, he's not compromising. He's not going to take less than what he wants. If you're not what he wants, he don't want you. He don't care about your garments. He don't care about your name change. He don't care about your fringes. He don't care how many people you told you was Israelite. If you don't meet the standard that he want, that man is going to reject you. He ain't taking less than what he want. See, he ain't these beta male sent manginas, busters, and suckers out here y'all be fooling with who will take less than what they want. Yahuwah's not taking less. You can give less to your husband. You ain't giving less to Yahuwah. Now, if you got ears to hear, you understood exactly what I said. You're not going to get that man less. That man not going to take it. Your law done told you that. He ain't taking it from Cain. I don't know why you think he taking it from you. I don't know why you thought that. That man say if you do well, you'll be accepted. You got to give him what he want. You can't give him what you want to give him and tell him take that. If this man say don't sin and you sin, he not taking that. This book say all sinners gonna be rooted out of the earth. That don't click in your brain like, oh, I don't want to be no sinner. That man say only those who walk perfect will dwell in my house. He said I will destroy all the wicked early. I don't want that to happen to me. So what is it that I need to do? He said cast iniquity away from you and transgression so it won't be your ruin. You still keeping it. He said get rid of it. You saying, no, that don't matter, brother. You know, because we all sin. But Yahuwah said, get rid of it. But you trying to hold on to it. That's where we go wrong at. He said, well, that's right. When we were in the flesh, the Moses sin worked in your body, and what did it bring? Death. But you want to hold on to death. That's why he said you made a covenant of death, and with hell you are an agreement. He said, I'm going to disannul your covenant with death, and you still trying to keep the contract with it because you don't want to let the sin go. Just let it go. Teddy P told you. That's all you got to do is let it go. You know what I'm saying? It'd be another love. TKO. I'm talking about the Lord done knock sin out. All you got to do is let it go. He done knock the penalty of sin out. You don't want to let it go. See, you want to be like Frankie Beverly and Mays. You want to sing about before you let go. Nigga, let it go. You want to come up with all these reasons. You still sin telling you he done killed me, but I love you before I let go. No. Keep that guitar riff, nigga. I'm going to roll over here with Teddy P, and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to roll with that bass line over here with Teddy, man. And I know Teddy ain't the greatest example because allegedly he like boy booty. You know what I'm talking about? But that's another conversation for another day. And that's how you know every year pop up with Curtis Mayfield what he did. That's a dirty bastard. Man, that nigga married Sam Cooke widow and came to Sam Cooke funeral, driving his car and wearing his clothes. And then after he left Sam Cooke widow, that nigga married his stepdaughter, which was Sam Cooke's daughter. And then after he divorced her, his brother married her. I said, well, these niggas nasty. That's a lie. This is not made up. This is known. This is a true story. This nigga really did this here. That's why he was talking about over there on 110th Street. Nasty niggas. Boy, that's an all manner of abomination right there what Curtis Mayfield pulled off. You understand me? That's a level of abomination rarely seen.
That's saying you that made it making the view, right? You that made the song making the view, and that's Curtis Mayfield.
I don't know. Curtis Mayfield made the you better think it over.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's who it is. That's why I said. I kept saying Curtis Mayfield, but it's definitely Bobby Womack.
Okay.
Because I seen his head because Curtis Mayfield something else. That was Bobby Womack did that. My pop. Ugly nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, Bobby Blowfish looking nigga.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, that was Bobby. And Bobby said, "I'm a Womack."
You don't know who Bobby Womack is.
I can understand. He was a nigga with a big forehead and a large throat. That's what it was. Come on, man. Let's keep on rolling, man. Verse 7, Deuteronomy 20. What man that have betrothed the wife and have not taken her? Hold on. Say, yep, Bobby made a song saying he wished his friend never trusted him so much. That boy definitely said, I wish he would have trusted. Ain't that something? You was a hell of a nigga to make a song after a nigga dead talking about I wish you ain't trust me so much. Well, why is you trying to take this man? Why? Because if you pulled up with his wife at his funeral, nigga, you was already smashing. You was already smashing her. You was a dirty nigga. He said, what man that have betrothed the wife have not taken her, let him go and return her to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further unto the people. They shall say, what man fearful and faint-hearted, let him go and return her to his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart. Now, of course, you know that verse 7 dealing with, with Amashiach, why he don't fight the battle with Gog and Magog. But it also tell you, man, if somebody of weak faith, you can't send them out there on the front lines to go out there and preach no word, man. That boy might buckle under the pressure, cause other people to buckle. You got to let that boy get strengthened up back at the dojo, back in the gym, where you send him out there. I'm just being serious now. You can't send anybody out there, man. That faith ain't strong. Because when something go down, that law not going to keep your heart strong. Let that be known. It ain't going to keep your heart strong. It ain't going to do it. That's why when he said, oh, he know that you'll be God's when you get this information, because he already know that's not what's going to make your heart strong. How many of y'all was strong because you ain't eat no pork? What made you strong about that? I know it. But like I told the brother today, man, I hate when dudes talk about, and can't nobody keep the law, and the only thing you want to talk about is Levitical sacrifices and this, that, there, and the third. Why you can't talk about not being a talebearer, nigga? What's hard about not doing that? What's hard about not running it with a multitude and a false matter? What's wrong? What's hard about not holding no grudge against your brother, man? What's hard about not taking vengeance, man? What's hard about not sleeping with your brother's wife, man? What's hard about not being covetous, man? What's hard about not being a lying bastard? Because see, it was a young lady the other day, man, and she talking about this here, man. You know, and I done told y'all this before. See, a lot of you niggas pussy. And this what make you pussy, because you don't live your life out in the open. What do I mean by live your life out in the open? Some of y'all want 3, 4, 5, 6 women. You know, we don't preach that, but I'm not finna sit here and argue with you about what you want to do. Take that up with the Lord. I done told you this before, this what I don't respect. You look that woman in the face and you tell her it's gonna be you and her. Let's say you ain't even have no thoughts about having 2, 3, 4 wives. But you done entered a covenant with that woman and told her it was gonna be you and her. Now you want to come back and say, I believe in polygyny now. I want me 2, 3 wives. No, you a liar, a buster, and a sucker. Because you should establish that from the jump street. Once you entered into that covenant with that woman, man, you can't come back and try to amend the terms, bro. Or if you knew you wanted that, why you lied to that woman and told her it was just going to be you and her? That's what he said, don't deal treacherously with the wife of your covenant. Stop being deceitful. Stop lying. Stop doing that. We don't respect that. And I ain't going to be like, well, you know, a man can have multiple wives, but that's not what you covenanted with this woman, though. You should have sorted that out before you entered into that covenant with the woman, though. Or at the bare minimum, if that's what you wanted, goofy nigga, you should have said that from the jump street. You should have said, shalom, brother Shaul. You should have said, nah, you know, baby, I want 2, 3 wives now. So you could give this person an opportunity to decide if that's what they want to do. But you know what a lot of brews do? You shame a woman because that's not what she want to do. Instead of saying, that's just not the woman for you. What's so hard with y'all with that, man? What's so hard to saying, you know what? It's all good, baby. You ain't the woman for me. Don't you know if you got to try to beat a woman down with the word to be your second and third wife, nigga, that woman don't like you, nigga? Because if she liked you, she'd be like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Do you know how goofy and lame you got to be? Look at, man, it's the same thing with money. Man, a lot of these boys couldn't get no woman till they got some money. And a lot of these boys couldn't get no woman till they found out they was an Israelite and they felt like they could teach some word. A lot of these boys couldn't get no women. These boys would drive a cement truck out here, man. If you try to use the word to manipulate a woman to be with you, you's a buster and a sucker. Simple as that, man. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, dry meat Danny. What's wrong with you? That's not how to live your life, man. Stop lying to these people, bro. Like I said, I don't care how many you be with, because I don't care what you do with your wee nigga. They don't make me no never mind. But what I don't respect is the lying, though. I don't respect that. I don't respect the lying. Keep it 100, man. You ain't lying, server. Keep it 100, man. Live your life in the open, man. I know a few brothers that's how they live their life. And they tell these women, first quote, this is what I'm on. Whether I agree with them doing it or not is irrelevant because at least he honest. You know what I'm talking about? At least he honest and say, hey, man, I want 3 wives. A lot of you boys, you ain't honest and you think you can't respect a nigga who a liar. How you gonna respect that? He ain't even man of his word. You enter into a covenant with that woman, man, you supposed to hold down what it is that you agreed to do, man. That's why that man say a covenant breaker. A covenant breaker is a worker of the flesh. That man say you walk through the hell, you can't keep the word that you contracted and promised to do. Goofy. Come on back to Deuteronomy 20, man. Matter of fact, let me get on to what I need, man. 20 and 14. Like I got all night. I ain't got all night. I know y'all ain't got to go to work, but I ain't got all night. Amen. I heard that, man. Service say he been with his wife for 23 years. You know what I'm talking about? Like I say, man, just be honest, man. Live your life in the open. If you got to be around here in the shadows, then, bro, you're not living your life in the open, man. Ain't that what he said when Yahushua, what his brother said? He said, man, he who do this here, he do it in the open. He don't do nothing in the dark. But like I told y'all the other day, man, I understand with the ladies, man, because y'all think all these boys be trying to smash, so you think every man who interact with you wants your monkey. You know what I'm talking about? Because y'all don't know how to deal with a man who not moved by vagina. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm be honest with you. Once you done had one vagina, effectively you done had them all. They all do the same thing. They all gonna bring the same conclusion. You know what I'm talking about? I just say that in the regards of you not being led by your wood to chase every woman you see to want to have sex with her. You know what I'm talking about? See, if you just got the mind frame that the next vagina gonna feel better and this vagina gonna feel like this and this vagina gonna feel like that, that's why these women be like that. I don't want no male DM because these niggas be trying to smash me or this, that, and the third. And you know what I'm talking about? Or I don't want to interact with the brother and that's how you got women clicked up off in the side teaching each other wrong information because they think all you boys want to do is smash. You know what I'm saying? That's a disgrace and an abomination for yourself. That's why a lot of these women interact with Hebrew men the way they do because they think you want their body. Because that's all that he worried about. They don't know to deal with a man. I don't care nothing about your body. What I care about that for? I'm not ruled by the pleasures of the flesh. I don't care nothing about how your body can make me feel. I don't even want your body because I want some money. You know what I'm talking about? I want some money. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want some money. So if me having an interaction with you ain't gonna lead to the increase of my bottom line, I don't want your body. What am I gonna do with that? And this doesn't matter if I'm married or not. This the same. I don't care nothing about that. I can't do nothing with that. I'm not ruled by sex. As a man who say he served God, even if you don't say you serve God, you shouldn't be dominated and ruled by sex. That's not a strong man. That's a weak man. That's a man who ruled by pleasure. Men who ruled by pleasure find themselves dead in a box. Dead broke. The book tell you that. You spend all your substance on harlots when you're seeking after pleasure, man. You know what I'm talking about? See, when you seeking after monkey, that's how you're going to be a trick. I done told you once and I done told you twice and I tell you one more time, boy, my mama ain't raised no trick and my daddy ain't produced one. I wasn't raised or taught to be no trick. So that means I don't care nothing about your body. I don't care nothing about that. Knowing I moved by what he said in Coming to America. I need a woman to stimulate my mind and not my lawn. I don't need no woman to stimulate my mind. I need her to make sure she can increase my grind. You know what I'm talking about? Can you add to my bottom line? I don't care nothing about your mind or your behind. I can't do nothing with it. I can't do nothing with it. I can't do nothing with it, baby. I can't do nothing with it. I promise you I can't. You know what I'm talking about? I'm with you on that, bro. You say, man, Shaul say a man of Yahuwah shouldn't fool with no sinner woman. Jacob and his wives could possibly show that dynamic go wrong. And indeed, and Jacob ain't even want that woman. You know what I'm talking about? But that's another conversation for another day. And I ain't saying that to be disrespectful to the ladies. I'm just telling you that of the mindset of a man who's not ruled by sex. This ain't really got nothing to do with women per se. This is just most of y'all don't know how to interact with a man who ain't ruled by sex. And the reason why I say that, because most of y'all done dealt with men whose sex is what they want. So therefore, you didn't really have to do much. When you run across a man and he's not ruled by sex, then you actually gonna have to add some value or benefit to his life because his number one objective is not it to get in between your legs. See, most of y'all know a man who all he want to do is get in between your legs. So you know it's a lot easier for you to interact with him to be able to get him to move how you want him to move because sex is what he's after. Godly men shouldn't be ruled by sex. I don't care if you got a wife or not. Sex shouldn't be your number one motivation. Sex will cloud your judgment. You'll make a bad move. You ought to have been hustling, but you trying to hunt. You ought to have been doing this here, but you worrying about that there. That's the problem. That's why you always hear these people arguing about can you have sex on the side. Your mind in the wrong place. You're thinking with your penis. So I know you got a heart of stone. Grown men shouldn't think with their penis. You should think with the mind of God. Married or not. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 20 and 14. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city and all the spoil thereof shall you take unto yourself, and you shall eat the spoil of your enemies which Yahuwah your Elohim hath given you. You shall do unto all the cities very far off from you, which not of the cities of these nations, but of the cities of these people which Yahuwah your Elohim to give you an inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathe. See, you got to realize something too, right? When Yahushua come through to take the land back from these people, he ain't leaving nothing alive that breathe. Them people dying. You understand me? If they in that land, I'm not talking about if they anywhere else. He said in that land. He said, don't leave nobody alive. Not a dog, not a cat, not a baby, not a woman. I kill them all. He said, but you shall utterly destroy them. The Hittites, the Amorites, the Kenites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, as Yahuwah your Elohim have commanded you. And they shall, and that they teach you not to do after all their abominations which they have done unto their gods, so you should sin against Yahuwah your Elohim. Listen, somebody just had his conversation the other day. They was like, is Yahuwah going to condemn people who never heard of him or the African tribe? They all going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell y'all something, man, because I'm different than most. I'm going to tell you, ain't but one way, and it's the Kadash highway, the way of Yahuwah. The way, the truth, and the life, Yahushua HaMashiach. It's only one way to Abba. If you a Buddhist, you going to hell. If you a Muslim, you going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? If you're following false Christian doctrine, you're going to hell. You a Satanist, you're going to hell. You fool with Zoroaster, you're going to hell. You dealing with some African tribalism, some voodoo, some hoodoo, you going to hell. Because if you ain't got Mashiach, how you got the Ruach, that means you're none of you. You're going to hell. See, I ain't like the rest of you niggas gonna pussyfoot around. I wouldn't give a damn. I done looked a Muslim in the face and told him, you're going to hell. The hell you mean? Because you niggas scared. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Yeah, I don't care if they ain't never heard it. That man say if they gonna die with the law and they can die without it. Because them Kenites ain't hear no word when he came through there and took him out. Your law show you that. So stop using that damn excuse talking about what if they ain't heard it. It don't matter if they ain't heard it. They still gonna be judged by it. Hell you mean? He don't even say that. He just say, hey man, this gospel done went from one end of the earth to the other. You know what I'm talking about? He don't even say everybody get a chance. Because guess what? They got a chance. Because the gospel is preached in heaven and the earth. You can see it. Everything. He say ain't nobody gonna escape it. That's closer to be with what you just stated. But definitely, there's nowhere in the text where he say everybody get to hear. He never said that. Because the Kenites didn't get to hear. Still don't say it. He just say go preach it to all creatures under heaven. You know what I'm talking about? And he say one time he winked at this ignorance, but he command men everywhere to repent. But that's why Paul said what he said in Romans 2. Let me get it for you. You know, I tell y'all this all the time. You know your law back it up now. The law back it up. Hold on, I'm in Hebrews. That ain't Romans. Look at Romans 2, y'all. Romans 2 and 12. For as many as have sinned without law also shall perish without law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. You understand that? Now we didn't talk about that before, because look what he just said, right? He say slay the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, so they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they did under their God. Now let me ask all the question. Where you can see in the law where anybody went and preached anything to them people. They didn't. They died without the law. You know what I'm talking about? So it doesn't matter. Because, you know, that's a lot of people's common. I heard that long before I was in the world. Well, what about the people who own an ancient beach or island and they ain't never heard of Jesus? Shoot, they still going to hell. And if you got a problem with it, take it up with Yahuwah when you see him. If you have a problem with it, just take it to him. Talk to him about it. See what he say. Like he give a damn what you got to say. That man ain't submitting to you, yielding to you. He ain't doing that. So guess what that means? If you sin without the gospel, you dying without it. Whether you knew you was an Israelite or not. And if you sin with the gospel, you dying by that same gospel, whether you an Israelite or not. That's why I say ain't no respected person. You going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? But see, we don't want to hear that. See, I want to hear that when you going to hell, but you'll hit there, listen to them white folks and say, if you do this here, you going to jail. Them white folks get out here and tell you drive with suspended license, you going to jail, you get your license straight. Or you try to drive out by traffic law when you see the police and your license bad. I don't see none of y'all going in the store stealing or doing nothing to go to prison. You ain't got no problem when somebody say you going to prison. I'll let somebody say you going to hell for your conduct, or you got to talk like that because you know you evil and you going. You know how I know this here? Because a lot of niggas in the street didn't want to hear they were going to prison for what they were doing. Am I lying? These niggas out here thugging, murdering, killing. They don't want to hear none of that. Because they know they going. They know if they get caught, they going. Well, if you get caught in your sins, boy, you going to hell, man. And why would you do that? That's the question. The question, see, this is the issue. The issue is not that you going to hell, is why would you want to go? Why would you put yourself in that position to perish? And you upset because somebody telling you, don't die, brother. Live. Man, well, you got to run. Who you think? You can't be telling me to live. You don't know me to tell me to live. That's how you sound when somebody checking you and you get upset. They telling you to live and you telling me, who do you think you are telling me how to live? Maybe I don't want to live, brother. Maybe I like smoking crack. Maybe I like shooting heroin. Lord, what they do? Deuteronomy 20:19. He said, when you shall besiege a city a long time and making war against it to take it, you shall not destroy the what? The trees. Therefore, by forcing an axe against them, for you may eat of them, and you shall not cut them down. For the tree of the field, man. Now they substituted life. Notice this here, right? Now, why is this man going to talk about trees in the land of Canaan? This is what he's talking about. Let me read it to you again. When you shall besiege a city a long time and making war against it to take it, you shall not destroy the trees, therefore, by forcing an axe against them. For you may eat of them, and you shall not cut them down. For the tree of the field, man, to employ in the siege. Only the trees which you know that be not trees for meat shall you destroy and cut them down. And you shall build bulwarks against the city that make war with you, and it shall be subdued. Now let me share some information with you, then we're going to go back to Genesis, and then we're going to slide out of here for the evening. Now, he said the tree of the field is for man. Of course, they added man's life in there. Oh, that ain't there, so there's that. So the tree of the field is for Adam. It's for man. Now, what does this remind you of? Now, he said the trees that don't be for me, cut them down. What is meat? Of course, y'all know that's maka'al, food, fruit, or meat. He said the trees that only the trees which you know that be not trees for meat, cut them down. Let's see what cut them down is. Cut down, of course, you know it's karath, it's to cut off, to eliminate, to kill, to cut a covenant, to cut off a body part, this, that, there, and the third. He said, the only the trees that be for me, cut that covenant off. But let's go back to Genesis chapter 2. Let's look at what this law says. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. You know what? I'm going to go all the way back to Genesis 2 and 8. Man, I usually get a shoulder impingement for doing too much chest work. I got a shoulder impingement from doing too much back work. That's the first. I ain't think that was possible.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh, this one been like this here for about a good week. Maybe longer than that. Genesis 2 and 8. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river went out to Eden to water the garden. From thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first Pison, that which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river Gihon, the same that compassed the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river Hiddekel, that which go towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river Euphrates. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die. Now, can we be able to ascertain that this tree was not a tree that was good for food? Will we be able to ascertain that? What would we be able to ascertain that by? Because he said, if you eat of it, you'll what? Surely die. No, again, notice what it said. Now he said, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat. So what did Deuteronomy 20 say? Go back to Deuteronomy 20. What did it say? That you shall not destroy the trees by forcing an axe against them, for you may eat of them. You shall not cut them down, for the tree of the field man's. Did he not say all the trees of the field were for man there? Now listen to what else he say. Only to employ in the siege. Only the trees that you know be not trees for meat shall you destroy and cut them down. So what did he say to cut them down? That's to cut a covenant. Now, I mentioned this passage earlier. Let's take a look. Isaiah 28. Let me give you destroy while I'm at it. And employ. First and foremost, what is employ? That is bow. That is to go in, to come in, to lead in, to cause to come in, or to be introduced. Y'all sit down and be quiet. And destroy is shakah, to destroy, to corrupt, to decay, to ruin. He said only the trees that are not for food should you ruin, if you would. Isaiah 28 and 16. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious corner, a sure foundation. He that believes shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. And with the overflowing scourge shall you pass through, and then you shall be trodden down by it. So listen, right? He said the trees that's not for meat, you could kill that covenant, you could cut it down. Now, of course, he did not instruct Adam to cut the tree of knowledge of good and evil down, but when you look at it in the spiritual sense, he could have cut that tree down because it was a tree that wasn't good for food, and the covenant of death would have never been in place. But instead, he entered into a covenant with death. Because he says that the tree of the field is for man's, of course, it got in English, man's life, but it's for man. All the trees is for man. The tree of life is for man. So when you see that the fruit of the righteous is the tree of life, and then we remember Jeremiah 17 and 7. Let's look at Jeremiah 17 and 7. Because while we talking about tree of life, Jeremiah 17 and 7 is going to come up repeatedly, and we probably going to read it every single solitary time. Well, no, that's the tree of life can produce the fruit. But the fruit it's going to produce is not produce everlasting life, which is why he told them don't fool with it. Because remember, they added the tree is for man. That tree wasn't for man. Why was that tree not for man? Because the law is for sinners, and he wasn't a sinner, so that tree wasn't for you. So that tree you could destroy or cut off if you would, because you don't have to fool with it. Not the cut off in the sense of laying the axe to it. You know what I'm talking about? But as forth as cut it off, as you don't have to fool with that or be in covenant with that. You can leave that over there. But all the other trees, those are for you. You know what I'm talking about? So you see some of the same instance when you turn around and you see this here in Deuteronomy when you were coming in the land. He said all the trees, because he told them to destroy everything else, but he said leave the trees. He said unless it was a tree that wasn't for food, then he said cut that down. Because the trees is for man. See, the tree of life was for man. Man didn't want it. What was the tree of life? The tree of life was Yahuwah himself, to be true, be told. Not in the figurative sense like we want to look at when people mention that, because we know the tree of life represents Yahushua. That's a different conversation. But that tree of life was faith, and you didn't want that. You didn't want the fruit that produced, because the fruit that it produced life, which truth be told was the fruit that was already in you, because you were not a sinner. He made man upright. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, it said we were talking about naked. That means if you was bare, if you were naked, that means you ain't had no sin. No, take that back. Excuse me. He blind, so he didn't know he was naked. So that means he had no sin. Remember what he said? He said, if you had not had sin, you would be blind. But since you say you see, your sin remained. Because the minute that Adam's eyes was open, his sin remained. But when he was blind, he had no sin. See, praise be to Yahuwah. We able to know this because you know the law. Because when this man was blind, he had no sin. But the minute his eyes was open, his sin remained. You know what I'm talking about? So we understand what that means, and not on some old super spiritual stuff. We can see it in the law. So when we turn around and we can see that, the tree of life may have opened his eyes, but he still would have known he was naked, because all he would have seen was God. And you know why he wouldn't have been naked? Because against such there is no law. So how would he have been exposed? Because we know from our law when he said, oh, you called them to be naked before your enemies. He said, I'm going to lift up your skirt so your nakedness can appear. That's your shame. That's your sin. Adam didn't have no sin to appear. And if they would have ate from the tree that he told them to eat from, then no sin would have ever appeared. So when you eat from the tree of life like he told you to do, then no sin would appear. That's how you would be born of God and you wouldn't commit sin. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he said, oh, you say you see, your sin remain. You would be blind because there would be no sin, because you would be like it was intended to be from the jump street. Do you know what I'm talking about? But we don't look at it that way. It's because we love death. and we love and take pleasure in those who love death. And then you think that you're going to be in refuge with he that is life? No, sir. No, sir, that's not going to happen. Jeremiah 17:7. Baruch the man that trusts in Yahuwah, whose hope Yahuwah is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and spread out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat come, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Now listen, right? Before we get up off of here. When you look at the tree of life, what do he say the tree of life always do? Yield fruit. It never stopped yielding fruit. He told you, he that believe on me, at the scripture I said, out of his belly for what? Rivers of living water. The water don't stop. So see, those who are born of God, see, that's why I say you can't practice the fruits of the Spirit, because if you have the Spirit, you will continually produce this fruit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's why I say the tree gonna be known by its fruit, because you will never stop producing said fruit. See, when he come to that fig tree that you ain't had no fruit on it, that's because you wasn't that tree. You mean to tell me you got the Spirit and you stop producing love? Or you stop producing peace? You stop producing faith? You stop producing gentleness? You stop producing meekness? You stop producing self-control? You never stop. So if a man say he got the Spirit, but then he turn around and he's sinning, that means you stop producing fruit, which means you never had it, sir. You alive from hell. You alive from hell. You alive from hell. You never stop producing the fruit. That's what it said, right? Neither shall you cease from yielding fruit. Let's just see what neither shall cease from yielding fruit before we get off of here. You know what I'm talking about? Sit back. Notice that those who believe in Yahuwah, whose hope Yahuwah is compared to the tree of life. And he say the righteous is as the tree of life. And you're made righteous, and the knowledge of my righteous servant justify many. And we're made righteous not by the works of the law, but by faith. And you niggas arguing with that? And you think that make the law void? You not compared to be a tree of life by the law. That's how we know Satan was lying when he told him you'd be a son of God by it. So you know these niggas lying if they telling you being an Israelite gonna get you somewhere. Boy, you operating with flesh. I ain't finna listen to you. You ain't got no work, brother. I can't be like George. I can't feel my face. I snort your coat and I can feel my face. I ain't went numb. Well, hush your mouth. I want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that, boy. So when you look at neither shall cease, what is shall cease? That is mush, mean, shan. So guess what? You'll be paired and consumed by the Ruach. Why? Because you will not depart or remove. There will be no departing or no removing from yielding fruit. You'll never stop. You'll never leave from it. What is yielding? That's asa. Guess what that means? That's work. So you will never depart from the work that produced fruit. What is fruit? That is parade. Y'all already know that. That's the offspring. That's the fruit of the actions. That's the produce of the ground. So if you trust in Yahuwah, you will never depart from the work that bring forth fruit. So you'll never depart from the work of faith. If you was Abraham's seed, you do the works of Abraham. So you'll never stop doing the work that produce fruit. That means the work of faith would never stop. So when you're not producing fruit, that means you're not walking in faith. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Yahuwah with it, man. We'll be back on Shabbat at 8 p.m. I bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all perfectly. You understood all these things. Of course, you know, we're going to reintegrate some of these things back in when the Sabbath come in. You know what I'm talking about? And bring them back and stack on and stack on. But yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. That's what it is, man. We got more stuff to add with it, man. But I appreciate y'all time, though. You know, Yahuwah willing, man, we'll be back at it. You know what I'm saying? And until that time.